Welcome my friend to this week's video. I am going to be bringing in some Christmas decorations and just special touches around our home as we are preparing to host for the season. I am excited to talk about hospitality and how we create a warm and inviting home during the season, and I'm so happy that you're here. We are gonna get started on decorating this living room today. I only have 3 bins. Listen, it's not like I've got like a crazy amount or anything. So today we are gonna work on bringing in our living room decorations. This is where we spend the majority of our time. I love decorating this space. Also, decorating videos are my favorite videos to watch. Do you guys feel the same? In addition to working on our living room and our mantle and all that, I also want to bring some of our Christmas festivities into our bedrooms. I'm going to go into our bedroom and work on that one. But I'm also gonna bring you guys upstairs into the girls' room, into the playroom. We love hosting every year, and we're gonna be having a bunch of family come stay with us. Lots of little cousins up in the beds up there, and I just wanna make all of the magic happen. Thank you for being one of the people who steps into our home, and yeah, let's go ahead and get started. We're actually gonna start at my bedroom, and this is actually being filmed at an earlier time. This is the Kristen of bedrooms past. We are partnering with Wayfair on this video, and we're finally getting a new bed. The one that I have here, I have shared with you guys. I got it off of, actually I got it from a thrift store. I think I got it for like $40 or something like that. It was white, we spray painted it black, and it's beautiful, but it's squeaky and it's chipping. You guys can see that this part, it shakes quite a bit. And it may not be super obvious, but there's actually scratches along all of the posts of the bed. And listen, y'all can do the math. We have 4 kids, okay? We don't need a squeaky bed. So I'm really excited. We're gonna be bringing in a new one. Josh is gonna be helping me set it up, but I thought I would just give you guys a little goodbye to this old gal. She has served us well. If you're prepping for the holiday season, Wayfair has your favorite seasonal home essentials. Shop their Black Friday sale and get up to 80% off and free shipping. All right, and here she is in all of her glory. You guys, I didn't realize that this bed is meant to be like a low bed. So we did wind up taking out our box spring. She sits pretty low on the ground, but it's really pretty. And I'm loving how the spindles of the bed, they mimic the spindles on these end tables. It's just such a cute look. So I want to put this bed together and make like a cute little fun Christmas bed. So I gotta tell you, one of my very favorite parts of the entire day, maybe you can relate, is at the very end of the day, pulling down my covers from a beautifully made bed and slipping right into them. And there's nothing better at Christmas time than to have some super cozy Christmas bedding. And I love having duvets because you can just keep a duvet cover, so you don't have to like keep a different comforter in your storage every year. All you have to have is a cover for it. I have these linen ones from, I think these are from Brooklinen, but I'm not sure if they have this color anymore. It's like this really pretty like deep red color, and I'm pairing it with these kind of like sagey color green pillows with these beautiful ties. I think that these were from a different company, not Brooklinen, but I love the ties on the side. And I don't know, there's something about at Christmas time looking out at the tree and all the sparkles and then settling into a cozy bed at night that is just one of my very favorite things. And I love bringing that feeling to all of our guests who come and visit us as well. All right, and here is our beautiful Christmas bed. I love how this turned out this year. It's much different than it was last year. And I actually feel like, you know, this green is kind of like an olivey color, and I really love the contrast of this green with the more cool green of these linen pillows back here. Then I got these cute little stripy sheets, these cotton ones. I think the whole thing put together is pretty cute. Okay, so we have a totally bare living room right now. I stripped it of all of our fall decorations and just made it a blank canvas so we can make it super festive in here. We have a bin that is begging to be opened and poured out. So a question that I want to ask is, do you find it difficult to invite guests into your home? I would love to hear from you guys in the comments about that, and if so, then why is that? There really are a plethora of reasons why it is uncomfortable or inconvenient to have people into our home. I know many times we can feel self-conscious about the size of our homes and whether we can adequately fit people in our home or if they'll be comfortable. Even in our home, we've got lots of rooms, but the rooms themselves are not extraordinarily large, and oftentimes it's standing room only around here. But I think it's important that we don't let limitations like that hold us back. A lot of times too, it feels like hospitality just requires too much work, whether it's creating a guest list and sending out all the invitations and texting back and forth. And then there's planning a menu, going grocery shopping, doing the food and the dessert, bringing out fancy dishes or setting out table linens, all of that, And I think we get this idea that it has to be a production every time that we invite people over and we have to impress others or entertain them. When in reality, how many of you actually need to be entertained as every single time that you go and visit somebody that you love? I know that I don't, and sometimes I feel like chaining myself to a lengthy list of to-dos makes me lose sight of the whole point of hospitality, which is to invite strangers and friends into our home and share the things that we have. Oftentimes we make the experience about ourselves instead of making it about the people that we're serving. But I think the thing that holds me back the most, at least in this most recent season of life, is this fear of rejection, that we are going to invite people in and they are just going to say no. And that might seem silly to many of you. I'm sure that so many of my amazing viewers would be wonderful guests in our home and would love being here and chatting with us, but it's actually happened quite a few times lately that we have invited people over and they have not come. And I think that when this happens once in a while, it's one thing, but the fact that it's happened many times lately has gotten me a little bit discouraged. And so I'm really having to talk myself back into doing this and remembering that this is not all about me, my home, my food, or my image, but it's truly about the people who come into our home. I need to make sure that I'm not worrying about cleaning and cooking and preparing to impress others, but I want to provide a space that will invite them in, and that it's more important to help others and be in communion with Christ than to entertain them. So each year I pull out these red poinsettias that I have, poinsettia, however you say it. And I know I mention it every year that I'm just not a red person. And y'all, if there's not anything that's red, this is red. But these are actually the poinsettias that were in our house when I was growing up. They were actually in my dad's house. I remember them from right after my parents got divorced and my dad was trying to make a special Christmas for us. We've got 3 bundles. You guys can see that they're all attached at the bottom. And then there's a bunch of these that are just picks. And so I can't remember what my dad did with those, but I remember with these picks, we would pick them all into the tree. For being as old as they are still absolutely beautiful. But I honestly have a hard time trying to find where to put them. And so this year it's going to be visible on the main floor. Typically I put them upstairs. I typically do a little bit more cheery red and green stuff up in the girls' rooms and the playrooms and stuff. But this year I think I'm going to keep these down here. And I'm going to put them in our room. That is my name.
Is that the blanket to that one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Mama, you're a good decorator.
Thank you, baby. good.
Okay, so that just might have been the worst cut ever.
It really was the worst cut ever. Why am I so bad at this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Mom.
What?
Hey, will you help me?
Yeah, what do you know?
Will you just hold this up here?
Yeah. How
Will
much?
you hold it here?
Yeah.
Alright, thanks, baby. Okay, so I do like to speak a lot about appreciating the things that we have and trying to use those before buying anything new, but I will say that the best investment that I have made as far as Christmas decor goes, probably ever, has been these garlands that I hung over our doorways. They are so beautiful. They were from this company called Decor. Unfortunately, the company went out of business recently. I'm gonna put that stocking on there.
And then go sleigh. Now I need to go sleigh, right?
Yep.
Go to another place. It's your room. Woo. I know you're really trying to help us get Christmas. Now I can slay. 40. Ready for Christmas?
Okay, we are upstairs. This is our playroom / sleepover room. In here we have 4 beds that we use for when friends come over or cousins, and I know that I mentioned that our cousins are going to come stay with us this year. I'm really excited because they stay with us multiple times throughout the year, but typically we go to them at Christmas time. They don't always come here, and so when they do come, I love to make it extra magical and special. So we added some little twinkle lights up here, and I've always done the same thing with our beds. I got this bedding from IKEA, oh my gosh, I don't even know how many years ago, a long time ago, probably 7 years ago or so, and you guys can see that it is red and white striped, not ticking stripe, just regular stripe. And I've always used our 2 matching red and white striped blankets for these beds. These used to be bunk beds, and I was about to this year, but then I had the idea that we have so many beautiful Christmas quilts. Let me show you. We have these beautiful quilts that I have thrifted. We typically use them on our couches when we are relaxing after a day. And my thought is that instead of keeping these rolled up in a basket like we always do, what if we put these on the bed? And my thought is that with the red and white striped, when you see it from the end of the hallway, they just look pink. But I think that these are going to give a little bit more impact when you look down the hallway into our playroom and give it a really Christmassy feel instead of a pink feel. So I am a firm believer in using all of your nice things. Obviously, these quilts are irreplaceable. Some of them are handmade. The one that's going to be on the far side of the room was actually made by my grandma for me. It was like my graduation quilt, and I know that it can never be replaced, but I want to use these things as much as possible. We even have quilts that were made by I can't remember if it's my great-grandmother or my great-great-grandmother. And some people may just keep these things perfectly preserved, but I know that if I was the one who made these special items, that it would bring me so much more joy to know that little girls slept in beds under these covers a million times rather than knowing that the pieces that I created will be preserved for forever. I mean, Lord knows if anybody's even going to want these things after I am gone, and so I want to make as much use of them as possible. So I'm actually trying to redo this Christmas tree. This is an old IKEA tree, and you guys can see that it is barely hanging on. It is like shifting back and forth, and I almost just threw it out, but I decided to try to make it look a little bit better. And then I'm bringing these red and white blankets over here and putting them on these beds that are kind of backed into these darker areas. You guys can see that the blankets and the pillow shams themselves, they look pink on camera, but I promise they are red and white striped. And then over here, I'm bringing this crazy looking garland behind this bed. and just putting these striped pillows and whatnot again over here. This is actually the favorite bed of all of the cousins whenever they come to stay. And then over here, we're coming into the girls' rooms. I typically keep things really simple in the girls' rooms just because they have enough stuff that I really just try to make their rooms as easy as possible to keep clean. So I typically just bring in this little lit garland over their bed. I like to keep these on timers so they go off whenever they wake up in the morning for about an hour or so. And then I like them to come on right as dusk hits and then stay on until, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes to an hour after they go to bed. I was getting some good Ruby time in this week. She stayed home from school because she was not feeling the best. So even though she was feeling kind of junky, she really wanted to help me. And then even though this is Ruby's room over here, it's actually the one that Ivy sleeps in every night. And I cannot tell you how excited she is to have her very own Christmas bed. She looks so cute with her teeny tiny little body wrapped up in all of these big comforter and quilts. I just love watching our girls grow up in our home.
What?
Only half the lights turned on.
Oh, that's sad.
All right, y'all. Well, that is all that we have time for today. I'm just gonna have to fix these lights another time because
Only half of them turned on.
I know only half of them turned on, but you know, that's just how these things go. So next week we're gonna finish up with our kitchen and then we will show you guys the full reveal and a house tour. I'm super excited. And next week we're gonna bake cookies too. So thank you guys so much for joining us. If you guys are not already, please consider subscribing. And until next time, we'll see you later.
She
Bye.
worked so hard on that though.
I worked so hard in general, didn't I, today?
Yeah.
I worked so hard.
Love you. Bye.